Okay, as for today's lesson, this is lesson number 3. It would be about the nature of the roots, no? Nature of the roots of nature nature of the roots of the quadratic equation. Pagka sinabing roots, actually ito yung characteristics, yung nature, no? Pagka sinabing nature, characteristics ng roots. Pagka sinabi namang roots, ibig sabihin nito, ito yung solution. So, the nature of the roots or yung value ng variable mo when you are solving it, no? Sa quadratic equation to, no? Nature of the roots of a quadratic equation. Okay. Unang-una, yung last na discussion natin is about quadratic formula, 'di ba? So gagamitin natin 'yan para malaman natin kung ano-ano yung mga nature ng roots. Example na lang ano. We have an equation x squared minus 4x and then plus 4 is equal to 0. So, naka-standard form of quadratic equation na siya. Makikita mo naman, ano? Naka-standard form na siya kasi naka-equal to 0 na siya. And yung pagkakasunod-sunod niya is tama lang. Starting with the quadratic term, the linear term, and the constant term. Now, dito, kapag ka syempre, alam nyo naman na kapag ka naka-standard form of quadratic equation, madali nyo nang malalaman kung ano yung A, yung B, at yung C, which is yun yung gagamitin natin using the quadratic formula. Okay, so yung A mo dito would be 1, obviously, kasi wala naman siyang kasamang number, and B is negative 4. Don't forget the sign. And then C is positive 4. Now, using the quadratic formula, okay, can you still recall? Can you please tell me, anyone from you, what is the quadratic formula?
Ma'am,
Sino yung tumaas ng kamay?
ma'am,
Okay, Lara.
ma'am, x is equal to negative b, positive negative square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a.
Very good, Lara. So, natatandaan mo pa, no? So, negative b plus and minus. Kaya sa plus and minus kasi square root yung kasunod niya, no? Yung value, I repeat, the value ng square root is always may positive and negative value. And b squared minus 4ac. Thank you, Lara. 4ac all over 2a. Ngayon, since na-master nyo na kung paano kuhanin yung A, B, and C from your previous lesson, ang gagawin nyo na lang is just substitute it para makuha mo yung value ng X. Ngayon, so substitute natin. Yung B mo is negative 4. So we have negative B. So negative ng B which is negative 4. And then plus and minus the square root of yung b squared mo would be negative 4 squared. Take note, naka-parenthesis yung buong negative 4 ha. And then minus 4 times a mo which is 1 and your c which is 4. Okay, so all over 2 times 1 because your a is 1. Ngayon kung makikita ninyo, negative times negative, magiging positive 4 na to. So we have 4 plus and minus the square root of. So negative 4 square is 16 minus 4 times 4 is 16. And then all over 2. Okay? So the answer therefore is 4 plus and minus the square root of 16 minus 16 is 0. Okay? All over 2. So ito, hindi mo na kailangang pansinin to kasi 0 naman na siya. Square root ng 0 is of course 0. So ang matitira na lang 4 over 2 which is 2. So this is the roots of the quadratic equation x squared minus 4x plus 4. No? That x is equal to 2. Ngayon, tignan niyo yung mabuti. Pagka sinabing nature ng roots, ito yung roots mo, 2. Anong napansin niyo sa 2? Mapapansin niyo na iisa lang yung solution. We only have one solution. One solution. And it is a real number. No? So, kung one solution siya, yung magiging roots mo, kasi dalawa, kasi ang ano is, sa quadratic equation, there must be x sub 1, yung first root, at yung second root. So, therefore, your x sub 1 or your first solution is 2, and your second solution is also 2. So, that means yung roots nila are equal. No? Quadratic means dapat dalawa yung solution mo. Since equal sila, iisa lang yung naging solution, no? Now, kung mapapansin ninyo, itong nandito sa loob ng square root mo is equal to 0. No? So, kaya hindi na natin pinansin. Ito na lang ang pinansin natin. So, yung first nature ng roots natin here, ito yung example ng real, because this is a real number, rational, kasi wala naman siyang radical sign na involved. So, it's rational. And it can be expressed into ratio, kasi ang whole number can be expressed as 2 over 1. So, it's rational and equal. And equal. Kung i-shortcut nyo na lang yan, real, rational, and equal. Ito yung kapag kayong nandun sa loob ng square root mo is equal to 0. Okay? Yung ang tawag natin doon, yung doon sa loob ng square root is actually the discriminant. Okay? So we call it as the discriminant. Which is yung nandun sa loob ng square root ng quadratic formula is b squared minus 4ac. No? Ito mismo, kapag ka ang d mo is equal to 0 or the discriminant is equal to 0, then the nature of the roots is real, rational, and equal. Kasi yung x sub 1 mo and x sub 2 mo is equal. It means yung solution mo are equal. No? So, iisa lang yung magiging solution mo. Okay, papaano naman kung we have another equation here? For example, we have x squared plus 7x plus 10 is equal to 0. Okay, once again, naka-standard form of quadratic equation na siya. So, pwedeng-pwede nyo nang makuha agad yung A, which is equal to 1. Your B is equal to 7. And your C is equal to 10. Okay. So, using again the quadratic formula. So, gagamitin muna natin yung quadratic formula, no, para malaman natin kung ilang roots at kung ano yung nature ng roots. Makikita ninyo yung itsura ng roots nila. Okay, so going back to the quadratic formula, yung x mo is equal to plus, negative b, which is 7, so that is minus 7, plus and minus the square root of yung b square mo, that is, bakit negative? Okay, negative 7. 7 squared. And then minus 4 times yung a mo, which is 1, times yung c mo, which is 10. Okay? All over 2 times 1. Okay, tignan natin yung solution niya, no? Although, actually, kapag when we're using the factoring, mas madali ano, pero syempre papakita natin kasi yung nandun sa may quadratic formula, yung sa loob ng square root, no? So we have here minus 7 plus and minus the square root of 7 square is 49 minus 4 times 10 is 40 all over 2. Okay? So, ang sagot mo dyan would be dalawa. So, negative 7 plus and minus the square root of 49 minus 40 is 9 all over 2. Okay? So, alisin na natin yung radical sign because you all know that the square root of 9 is 3. So, that is negative 7 plus and minus 3 all over 2. Okay? So, yung x sub 1 mo, yung first solution mo dyan, would be if yung 3 mo is plus. No? So, we have negative 7 plus 3 all over 2. Okay? And negative 7 plus 3 is negative 4 over 2. That is negative 2. So, yung x sub 1 mo is negative 2. Ang x sub 2 mo naman, if yung 3 mo is negative or minus, negative 7 minus 3 all over 2. And this is negative 7 minus 3 is negative 10 over 2. That's negative 5. Okay, so x sub 1 is negative 2 and x sub 2 is negative 5. So, kung mapapansin ninyo, you have two solutions here. Meron kang number of solutions. There are two solutions. And what do we call the nature of the roots? We call this as real, rational, and not equal. Bakit not equal? Because x sub 1 is not equal to x sub 2. X sub 1 is negative 2 and x sub 2 is negative 5. Yung dalawang solution, hindi siya equal. Hindi katulad sa una, iisa lang talaga yung solution. Wala nang iba. So the nature of the roots here is real, dahil real number siya, and then rational, dahil walang involved na square root, walang involved na radical sign, and not equal. Ngayon, kung mapapansin ninyo, tignan natin yung discriminant. Parang merong nag-message. Okay, sorry. Sorry for the interruption. Okay. Kung mapapansin ninyo, kung kukunin natin yung discriminant, we have the square root of 9, no? Yung d dito sa number 2, yung d mo, which is b squared minus 4ac is equal to 9, no? B squared is 49. At ito naman yung 4ac mo naging 40. That's why it is equal to 9. No, anong napansin ninyo sa discriminant which is 9? Anong napansin ninyo?
Perfect square po siya.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Iho. So, perfect square yung number. So, that means kung ang D mo is a positive, it should be positive, no? Huwag niyong kalimutan, dapat positive. Kasi kung negative yan, hindi pwede. Kasi wala namang negative ang square, wala namang value ng negative, square root ng negative ng number. So, if your D is a positive, perfect square number. Perfect square number. Then, the nature of the roots. Sorry for my writing kasi I'm using my mouse. Perfect square number. So, pagka sinabi natin perfect square, pag kinuha natin yung square root, it would become a whole number. no? For example, 25, perfect square number siya because square root ng 25 is 5, something like that, no? So so if your D is a perfect square number, then the nature of the roots here would be real, rational, and not equal. Ito na yung ginawa kong acronym, ano, para mas mabilis. RRN, real, rational, and not equal. No? Okay, so let's have another example now. So example number 2 natin yan. No? Example number 1, 0 yung discriminant. Example number 2, positive perfect square number yung discriminant mo. Tignan naman natin yung example number 3 mo. Natin. Okay, so let's have, for example, we have x squared plus 6x plus 3 is equal to 0. Okay? So, naka-standard form of quadratic equation na siya, kaya alam nyo kagad that ang A is equal to 1, B is equal to 6, and C is equal to 3. Okay. So, using the quadratic formula, x is equal to negative b, so that is negative 6, plus and minus the square root of b squared, which is 6 squared, minus 4 times 1 times your c, which is 3, all over 2 times 1. Okay. So therefore, we have here negative 6 plus and minus the square root of 36 minus 12. Okay? All over 2. So, kung ano na natin, negative 6 plus and minus the square root of what is 36 minus 12? It is 24. Okay? So, it is 24. All over 2. Okay. Meron bang factor ang 24 na perfect square? So, we have negative 6 plus and minus. Meron bang factor ang 24 na perfect square? Factor nyo nga yung 24.
Ma'am, 4 po.
4 times?
4 times 6 po.
Very good. Thank you, Iho. All over 2. No? Since yung 4, perfect square, pwede mo siyang ilabas dito. No? So, we can have negative 6 plus and minus. Yung 4 mo, yung square root of 4 mo, magiging 2 na dito. Tanggalin na natin siya sa loob ng radical sign. Ang matitira is square root of 6. All over 2. So, kung i-divide natin sa 2, negative 6 divided by 2, that is negative 3. And then plus and minus, 2 divided by 2 is 1. So, square root of 6 na lang. So, yan yung magiging x mo. So, we have two solutions here also. Yung x sub 1 mo is kung positive yung square root of 6 mo. So, we have negative 3 plus square root of 6. No? Yung x sub 2 mo naman, the other solution would be negative 3 minus square root of 6. Okay, so we have two solutions here also. No, two solutions here. Two solutions. Now, are they equal? Equal ba yung solution? No. Rational ba yung solution? No. No? So, this is irrational. Is it real? Yes. Because you can locate it in the number line. No, real siya. Ngayon, kapag ang radical sign mo ay hindi pwedeng ilabas. So we can call this as irrational. No? Magiging rational lang siya kapag ka whole number. Although it is not equal, kasi we have two solutions here. Ang 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 solution ng first solution mo would be this one, and the second solution would be this one, which is not equal. That is why the nature of the roots is real, irrational. Okay, ilagay ko na nga yung buo. This is real, irrational, that means it is not rational, ano? Irrational, and not equal. Yung kanina, yung may perfect square yung discriminant, real rational siya, and not equal also. It has also two solutions. No? So, kung mapapansin niyo yung discriminant, so we have the discriminant again. Puntahan natin yung discriminant natin. 6 squared minus, which is square root of 24. No? So, yung discriminant niya, therefore, is, anong mapansin nyo? Square root of 24. Alisin na natin yung square root. Discriminant lang pala. Yung nasa loob lang ng ano. Okay. The discriminant is 24. Anong napansin ninyo? Sa 24. Describe nyo yung number.
Ma'am, positive non-perfect square po.
Positive non-perfect square number. Thank you, Iho. So, if your discriminant is a positive non-perfect square number, hindi siya perfect square. Not perfect square number. Yung isa perfect square number, kaya naging rational siya. Ito naging irrational kasi not perfect square. Hindi mo siya pwedeng ilabas, di ba nasa loob siya ng square root? Hindi mo siya pwedeng ilabas sa radical sign. Meron at meron kang matitira, hindi mo ma-eliminate yung radical sign kasi hindi perfect square yung number inside. No? Yung take note, yung discriminant is the number inside the square root. So, kung hindi siya perfect square number, hindi natin siya malalabas. Malalabas lang natin siya kapag perfect square number siya. Katulad nung sa second example natin. So, this is not a perfect square number. Pero positive once again, palagi kong ini-indicate yung sign. Non-perfect square number. Kayo na magtuloy nung sulat ko kung hindi nyo maintindihan. So, this is a not perfect square. Positive not perfect square number. Okay. So, kung ang discriminant mo is a positive non-perfect square number, the nature of the roots would be real, irrational, and not equal. Yan yung RIN, no? Yung acronym niya RIN. Real, irrational, and not equal. Kasi, hindi natin matatanggal sa labas ng square root yung number, yung discriminant. Okay, so that is another example. So, and then the last nature of the roots ng quadratic equation. Let's have another example here, the fourth one. So, let's say we have an equation x squared let's see, plus 2x plus 5 is equal to 0. Okay, once again, naka-standard form of quadratic equation na siya. So, alam na natin na ang A is equal to 1. Yung B is equal to 2. And your C is equal to 5. Okay, using the quadratic formula now, x is equal to negative of B, which is 2, plus and minus the square root of B squared, which is 2. So, that's 2 squared. Minus 4 times 1 times your C, which is 5, all over 2 times 1. Okay, so tignan natin ngayon. Here we have negative 2 plus and minus the square root of, okay, so we have 4 here. 2 square is 4. Minus 4 times 5 is 20. All over 2. Okay. So here, makikita ninyo, so this is negative 2, no? Plus and minus the square root of 4 minus 20. Ngayon, if you are subtracting like signs, they are both positive. So, isa-subtract nyo, no? So, that's 20 minus 4 is 16. Yun nga lang, it is negative because the first number is smaller. Diba, nagbigay na ako ng guideline sa inyo on how to add and subtract integers. Ngayon, you are subtracting both positive. So, you have to subtract them. Parang silang positive eh. Kaya lang, it would be negative because the first number is smaller. So, we have negative 16. All over 2. So, this is negative 2 plus and minus. Now, yung negative 16 can be expressed as negative 1 times 16. And 16 is, alam mo na yung square root ng 16. So, pwede mong ilabas yung 16. It can be expressed as 4, because the square root of 16 is 4, times the square root of negative 1. Kung mapapansin niyo, itong square root of negative 1 is considered an our imaginary number. No? Always bear in mind that the square root of negative 1 is what we call the imaginary number. So, it is denoted as I. So, this can be expressed as 4I. No? So, therefore, ito, plus and minus 4I. All over 2. Now, kapag ka meron kang imaginary number, ibig sabihin yan, it doesn't exist. No? Walang number na ganon. Kasi we cannot locate it in the number line. So, that means this solution has no solution. No? Once na meron kang imaginary number, this can be considered as no solution at all. So, what's the discriminant here? So, once again, sabihin ko sa inyo, this has no solution. So, pansinin natin, yung discriminant is equal to negative 16. Okay, so anong napansin nyo? The discriminant is what? Anong napansin nyo sa discriminant? It is negative 16. Yung nandun sa loob ng square root is negative 16. So, anong napansin niyo? Can you please describe the number?
Ma'am, negative po pero dito po perfect square po pero negative.
Okay, perfect square siya pero negative. Anyway, kahit hindi siya perfect square, kung kunyari negative 7 siya, negative pa rin siya. So, this, ang ano lang nito is, it is a negative integer. No? Negative number or negative integer. So, kung ang discriminant mo, negative integer, therefore, the nature of the roots is no real roots at all. No? It has no real roots. There is no solution. No real roots. So, this is no real roots. Okay? Wala siyang real roots. Hindi real number ang roots mo, ang solution mo. Kasi, walang nag-exist ng ganong number. Okay? So, all in all, i-summarize natin ngayon. Kung napansin nyo, nung yung last na, ano ko sa inyo, gumawa ako ng 3 column. Yung unang column is yung nature of the roots. No? Dito yung nature ng roots. Nature of the roots Once again, pag sinabi nating roots, ano ibig sabihin? Anyone? Pag sinabi nating roots, ano yung ibig sabihin ng roots?
Solution po.
Okay, it is the solution. It is the value of your x, no? Kapag ka sinabi nating nature of the roots. Ngayon, dito yung discriminant mo. Lagay natin dito sa ano mo is yung discriminant mo, which is equal to b squared minus 4ac. And then dito sa last, number of solution, no? Kung ilang solution siya. Number of solution. So, the nature of the roots, yung una. Ano yung unang-unang nature of the roots na pinag-usapan natin? Yun yung d is equal to 0. If your d is equal to 0, okay. Ay, wait. Ba't andyan? Dito pala. Ito. Your d is equal to 0. This one. The nature of the roots is real, rational, and equal. So, we have real. Yung unang nature ng roots na ma-describe natin. So, this is the characteristics. It is real, rational, and equal. How many solution? 1. Number 2 example natin. Ano yung number 2 example natin? Tignan ko nga kung nakikinig nga kayo or nagte-take down kayo ng notes. Ano yung nature of the roots? Yung number 2 example natin.
Real, rational, and not equal po.
Very good. Wait. Tignan ko muna kung sino yung sumagot. Sino yung sumagot kanina?
Mama ko po.
Okay. Si Lara ulit. Okay, thank you, Lara. So, real, rational, and not equal. Kapag real, rational, and not equal, ano yung discriminant niya? Ano yung discriminant ng real, rational, and not equal?
Positive perfect square po.
Very good. Thank you, Lara. So, that is positive perfect square number. Sinorkat ko na lang PSN means perfect square number. How many solutions? Siyempre, we have 2. Hindi nga lang sila equal, no? Ito, one solution kasi equal siya. Iisa lang. So, ito, not equal, kaya 2 solution siya. Okay. How about the third example? Ano yung nature ng roots? Nung third example.
Real, irrational, not equal po.
Ulit? Real?
Real, irrational, and not equal po.
Okay. Thank you, J. Rose. Nagte-take down ng notes ka rin, Thank you, ha. Real, irrational. Gusto ko lang kasing maliwanagan yung pangalawang sinabi mo eh. Irrational. So, it is real, irrational, and not equal, no? So, ano yung discriminant mo dito? Describe
Positive, not perfect square po.
Okay, it is thank you very much, J. Rose. Positive, not perfect square, no? Positive, not perfect square. So, lagyan natin not perfect square. Lagyan natin ng n, no? Shinortcut ko na lang, ha. So, positive, not perfect square number. And how many solution?
Po.
Okay, 2 din, no? Not equal nga lang. Kasi kung isa-substitute mo yon, kahit may radical sign yon, makikita mo, equal yung tama yung magiging equation mo. Mapuprove mo na tama yung solution mo by just substituting. Pwede mo i-substitute yun kahit may square root. Now, sa last one. Ano yung last nature? Okay, thank you very much. So, no real roots. Ano yung discriminant mo dito?
Negative integer po or negative.
Okay. Negative integers. Negative number. So, negative integers. How many solution?
No solution po.
Okay, there is no solution. 0. no? Zero solution. Walang solution yung equation na yon. Kahit pagbalik-balik ta rin man ang mundo, hindi nyo masosolve yung equation na yon, ano? So, yun na. No? So, that's it. Actually, that is part 1 of that's lecture number 3. Mamaya, after the break, I'm going to discuss about lesson number 4. Okay? So, any questions so far? Any question? Any question? So, dito na yung mga discriminant mo, no? Discriminant means you just have to get the value of d is equal to this, b squared minus 4ac. So, substitute nyo lang. Kung alam nyo na yung a, yung b at yung c. No? Ito yung sa instructional support material nyo. Wala pang sumasagot nito. Wala pang nagpapas. No? Wala pang nagpapas nito. Okay, any more question so far? Any question? I'm waiting for your question. So, I assume naintindihan na ninyo, no? Yung about the nature of the roots. Tama ba? Mag-response kayo para malaman ko kung gising pa kayo. Class? Do you have any more question?
Wala na po.
Wala na po.